As the Ben Ish Hai. We have a Gemara, Masechet Shabbat. Rav says when a person's brought to judgment after 120, he is asked, did you buy and sell with faith? Nasata v'natata be'emunah. So, meaning, in other sources, there's another Gemara that says the first question a person gets asked is, did you set aside time, kavat eitim leTorah? Did you set aside time for Torah learning? So it's a contradiction. Which one comes first? There's one source that says about business is what they ask you first. Another source says, did you study Torah first? Did you set aside time to study Torah? So what's going on? So he says, if a person was asked, why didn't you set aside time for Torah study? What is he going to say? He could potentially say, oh, I have no time to learn. I had to work day and night to support my family. I didn't have time to learn. But if he's asked about business first, then he might the answer might come out different, right? The angel will say, did you buy and sell with faith? That all your profits come from Hashem, not from your talent? Did you work with Emunah to realize all your earnings come from Hashem, not from your efforts? Did you believe that in Rosh Hashanah, your income was set aside already from the beginning of the year? And all of this ishtadlut and all of this means of nature and how it makes sense that you made money, all that was just like a smokescreen of the way of Hashem sending you parnasah. So a person could say, yes, of course, I placed my full trust in Hashem. I have faith in Hashem that He was the one who gives me everything I have. Every penny I got is from Hashem. So then the angel will ask you next, very good. So therefore now, can you set aside time to study Torah? Did you set aside time? Meaning, if you really believed in Emunah that Hashem provides you for parnasah, so then you would not have any problems setting aside time to learn and study Torah. But if a person says, I have no time to learn, I have to work day and night, so then he'll fail the other question. He'll fail the question of did you do business with faith? If you did business with faith, you would have realized you had time to learn. As it says in the pasuk in Yeshaya, right? Tzion b'tzedik tipadim, right? Tzion will be redeemed with justice, and those who return to her with charity. And then Habakkuk also said, Tzaddik be'emanato yehye. The tzaddik, the righteous, live by their faith. So Yeshaya said, the charity is the mitzvah that will bring. If you had to choose a mitzvah, which one will bring the most salvation, the most redemption to the Jewish people? Tzedakah, says Isaiah. But Habakkuk says no. That the main reason of mitzvot is emunah. That's the main thing. So Isaiah will tell you tzedakah, and Habakkuk will tell you emunah. So the Ben Ish Hai says they're not arguing. Really, they're saying the same thing. Because really, what's the one mitzvah that we're allowed to test Hashem? It's tzedakah. It's tzedakah, to see the maaser, right? It says to give maaser, and Hashem says it's the one mitzvah you're allowed to test me to see. You will see the hand of God. You will see how I will make you wealthy. So why did Hashem choose the mitzvah of charity as the test of our emunah in Him? So he says a mashal. He says there's a merchant who came from Baghdad, and he had a wagon shipment full of fabrics. So a lot of buyers came around his wagon. They were all hawking him, asking him for prices, trying to buy from him. And there was one guy who came, and he says, I want everything. How much for everything? Right away, he wants to buy the whole thing. So then, the merchant said, listen, all the rolls of fabric, they're all the same. Each roll has 60 meters of fabric. You do the math. How much we pay per meter, that's how it is. So the guy who was selling, he didn't believe, the guy who wanted to buy, he didn't believe the merchant. He didn't believe the guy who wanted to sell. He says, I don't believe you have 60 inside each roll. When you buy a box of tissues, it says 500 tissues. Did you ever sit there and count if they really give you 500 tissues? So this guy, I don't believe you have 60 meters inside each roll. I want to take it apart and I want to see. So then he said, you know what? So here, take one. He took one roll. And he started unrolling it. He started looking, and he said, "Wait, this one looks thinner than the others. This doesn't look so thick." So then this one will be a good test. If this one is thin and it's still 60 meters, so then for sure the other ones are. So says Hakadosh Baruch Hu to Am Yisrael that Hashem has like a wagon load of wares, like as if He has a wagon load full of mitzvot, 613 mitzvot, and he said, "This is bracha, this is haslacha, this is going to give you everything you need in life." So naturally, when we want to accept an offer, we want to test. We want to see, what do you mean? Before I buy, I want to see if it's good. So Hashem gave us one to choose, one roll to open, quote unquote. And what is that? That is tzedakah. And if tzedakah where you give away your money and it gives you bracha, so how much more so if you give away your time, give away your efforts to do a mitzvah, how much more so Hashem will also give you. So therefore he says, Yeshaya says, what is the biggest way to show emunah in Hashem is tzedakah. So therefore Habakkuk and Yeshaya were not arguing. Yeshaya says the Jewish people were redeemed through tzedakah. If you think about it, now watch, all these charity campaigns are going to start again, right? So then they're going to go and ask us for tzedakah. And what are they doing? They're going to help teach our children in our community. They're going to help make people chazer b'tshuva. They're going to, all these not-for-profits make our community that much better and makes people more involved in our community, closer to Hashem, more affiliated, right? Emet and Chazak and all these things. So what happens? So now because we give tzedakah, the Geulah comes closer and closer. Because now they have what to be able to work with, to be able to do the work of God. So therefore, there's the shuls, they all exist to bring people to Hashem, all because b'zchut the tzedakah that people give in the shul. So therefore, says Yeshaya, the tzedakah is what brings the Geulah. But Habakkuk said it's emunah, everything is emunah. Tzedakah is the biggest testimony that you have emunah. When you give tzedakah, it's the biggest testimony you have emunah. Okay, says the Ben Ish Hai, the Gemara of Sechet Shabbat says, they stood by Har Sinai at the bottom of the mountain. What does it mean, bottom of the mountain? Rav Dimi Bar Hama says Hashem uprooted the mountain and held it over them like a barrel. And they were literally under the mountain. He said, if you accept the Torah, very good. And if not, you will be buried right here. Right? So the sages said that when it came time to give the Torah, Hashem went to each nation and he said, will you accept the Torah? And the nation said, what is written in there? Hashem told them one mitzvah or two mitzvot. And he said, it's not for us. So then it came to the Jewish people. Hashem said, listen, he didn't even ask them, do you want the Torah? He said, listen, this is the Torah. You want it, good. If you don't want, right, that's it. You're going to be squashed, right? So what's going on over here? Why did Hashem treat us differently? He should have asked the same question. He should have said, oh, do you want the Torah? And then he would have asked what's in there, and then he would have told us, and then we would make a decision. Why did he do us different? So he says, the Ben Ish Hai, there's three different mitzvot in the Torah. There's mitzvot that are logical, like honoring your parents. There's mitzvot that have a known reason, but the logic wouldn't, if Hashem didn't tell us, we wouldn't understand. Like, for example, Matzah and Pesach. There's a reason at the end of the day to eat Matzah and Pesach, to remember how we left Egypt, but we wouldn't have thought that otherwise. And then there's mitzvot that have no reason, right? Not eating milk and meat together, hokim, right? Not wearing shatnez and stuff like that. So to the people who have faith in Hashem, doesn't matter what type of mitzvah it is. No, Hashem said it, we'll do it. But the people who don't have emunah, they only like to do the logical mitzvot. The mitzvot, don't kill, don't steal, respect your parents, everything else, okay, I don't know so much about this mitzvah, that mitzvah. But who was the first believer? It was Avram Avinu. After came Yitzhak, and after him came Yaakov. So from those three avot, we have a strong rooted emunah in our children and our descendants. But later, when the Jewish people wanted to leave Egypt, what did Moshe say? Moshe said when Hashem told him, take the Jews out, he said, maybe they're not going to believe in me. Maybe they're not going to accept me. And this week's parasha, he says, maybe, how am I going to prove it to them? He gave them the signs with the blood and the staff and the tzaraat. But what? So the nations, what? So the nations are not suited for the Torah because they only want to keep things that are logical, right? And they ridicule the mitzvot that don't make any sense. So therefore, the only reason the Jewish people accepted the Torah and the reason there was the zechut we have for the Torah is because of the faith we have. Meaning to say, a lot of times we think, what zechut do we have that we got the Torah? What makes us so special? We have to realize it's our emunah that makes us stand out more than anybody else. We said Na'aseh v'nishma, and that's exactly why Hashem gave it to us, because we said, doesn't matter what type of mitzvah, Hashem, don't worry. The mitzvot we will accept because emunah. And that's why Hashem didn't ask us what's inside the Torah. Hashem said the Torah, the only way you'll get it is through emunah. You have to say that you can't pick and choose which mitzvot. You can't ask, what does this mean? What does that mean? Meaning, obviously, we can learn about it, but it doesn't mean that it should break or make if you keep the mitzvah. We keep all the mitzvot. We try to learn about the mitzvot, but doesn't mean just because you don't understand, you don't do. Rather, we have to have emunah and accept the whole Torah. And when we accept the whole Torah, Hashem will bring us the Geulah.